Welcome to the Author It Again podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
Oh, I'm Emme. I gotta say that now. Hi guys.
Yep.
This is your third time on this show.
Emme Hall. I know I forget protocol.
As always, we are definitely socially distanced. Ross is still in the Northeast. I'm still in the Midwest, and Emmy's on the West Coast.
Holla.
Yeah. Again, we've forgotten the Mountain Time Zone. We just need somebody to like pitch in from Denver every now and then.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if they're in Arizona though, like Arizona doesn't, it like goes back and forth between mountain and regular California time. So that person, maybe
that was I went to Southern Utah in October, and we drove to the Grand Canyon. And by driving south, we went back an hour.
Isn't that weird? Arizona's so weird.
Yeah,
time zones are dumb.
And that day, like turning around and be like, all right, what time are we going to get back? Because we got to make sure we get dinner before everything closes in this tiny town in Utah.
Yeah.
We had to think about the time change is going to jump an hour ahead driving north.
So weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
So bizarre. You guys, I'm so glad to be back here again and seeing your lovely faces.
Well, you've driven
vice versa.
Lots of stuff since we've last been on.
Seriously.
I know. It's been rad. So like the coolest thing that I got to do was drive the ID.4, the Volkswagen ID.4, that all electric little SUV in the NORRA 1000 with Tanner Faust, like rally champion, crazy stunt driver. He did that Hot Wheels like loop-de-loop thing. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put you
about that.
Okay, sure. Put with Tanner. Okay.
This was the first electric NORRA entrant, right?
Yes. This was the first electric vehicle to compete in the NORRA 1000. So the NORRA 1000 is a little bit different from the Baja 1000. The Baja 1000 is generally can be either a point to point or it can be a loop, but that is you do 1,000 miles straight off, right? And you just go as fast as you can, and when you're done, you're done. NORRA breaks it up into like 5 days, and it is usually a point to point, but this year because of COVID, we started and ended in Ensenada, so we did a loop. But the way it's so it's not only is it they set it up over 5 days, it's a rally, so you have like a special stage on the dirt, and then you have a transit stage on the pavement, and then a special stage on the dirt, transit stage on the pavement, and there's no pre-running. You can get a GPS card, like they will give you the GPS files, but there's no pre-running, and instead everyone gets a road book with the tulip notes of where you're supposed to go, how far you're supposed to go, and then what you're going to see at that particular note. It's great for vehicles that are going to go fast. We were not going fast in this.
What?
No, we were not going very fast.
What was the weight of that thing?
48
with the cage. With the cage? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, with the cage, because they took everything. They took a bunch of stuff out and they added some things. So I think it kind of balanced out. But as you can kind of see from this photo, like it's not like it had a giant lift. It doesn't have long travel suspension. I mean, there is a little bit of a lift with the tires. Those are bigger tires. 17 or 18-inch wheels.
Those OZ rally wheels look good on everything.
Yeah. Right? I had never heard of that brand before. I was like,
like the quintessential rally look.
Yeah, but like they didn't cut anything off the front for approach angle,
No, it looks like it's there. Like
yeah, that angle is there. That's for sure. And Reese Millen's race team prepped the vehicle, and
good hands.
Yeah. So there were some rally shocks underneath there.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not like it had any more travel than stock, So as a result, like there were some times, sure, where it was a graded dirt road and you could go pretty fast, but you never know when a gotcha is going to come up. So we were very, very conservative with speed. We had a couple of dry lake beds, and Tanner was driving over those, and he hit 107 miles per hour on the lake bed. So
that's quick.
Look at that. That's pretty awesome. We were in that big LS powered buggy, and we were like, shit, we got to go. Like he's
hauling.
Yeah, he was hauling butt. He was hauling the mail.
That's
so
funny.
that was pretty cool to watch him, watch him do that. And his co-driver is just a Volkswagen engineer who had never raced, never been to Baja. And I'm sure he's in the car right now going like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Normal day for Tanner, pucker factor high for him.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's
Well,
like,
Tanner was like, "This is so slow. God, we have to drive so slow. Like, oh, this is so terrible." So as soon as he got the chance to rip that ride open, he was going to do it. But what happens when you're an electric vehicle? It's the same as a gas vehicle, right? You put your foot into it, it's not going to be very efficient. So he definitely had to make that up later in terms of his driving style and like where and when he could regen. The way those special stages were set up, the longest special stage we had was like 164, 167 miles. So we definitely had to charge on stage for that. But most of those stages, we were able to complete the full stage. And then we had a big heavy duty pickup truck with an enclosed trailer that had a generator and then going to a 50 kilowatt charger. So at this end of the special stage, they would put the ID.4 in the trailer, plug it in, drive the transit. And usually for the transit, they give you more time to do the transit than you would need to do if you were just like going from point to point. So there's some built-in buffer time in case people need to, fix something or whatever. It's not like 6 hours, but if it's a 30-mile transit, you might have an hour and a half to do it, let's say.
Okay.
So we always were able to, if we didn't get enough charge on that transit stage, we had time to sit there and sit at the beginning of the special stage and charge until we had enough and we're ready to go. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, like, how does off-road affect range? Because I think the quoted one is like 250 or 260 for an ID.4?
Yeah. So we got about half that. Volkswagen was aiming for 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
And we were right in there. So it was like 123, 125 miles of range. Mm-hmm. But as you're on this off-road terrain, like if you're going through something that's really soft and sandy and you're getting stuck, which is what happened to me, like you can look down and you'll be like, oh my God, we're in like 0.5 miles per kilowatt hour at this moment.
Oh God, it's like how the BMWs have the live gas,
yes,
the fuel economy thing that you watch go up and down on the dash. And you're like,
same thing. Volkswagen just has it. And this is stock on the like infotainment screen. This wasn't anything that added specifically for us. So,
they really want you to focus on that then.
Well, I know you're like,
yeah, seriously. Shit.
What's gas?
What's gas?
I know. So, but then you can make it up on like downhills, on flat graded dirt roads, and you always want to have less rolling resistance, right? That's going to help your range. So we didn't really air down that much, because like it's nice to have that bigger footprint, but
and that ride comfort, that speed.
Yeah. So the ride comfort, you're just like, oh, good.
Yeah.
And we're not going that fast. When you're going 20, 30 miles an hour, like it's not that bad. And a lot of roads were like this that you're seeing right here. Like, there might be a few gotchas here and there, but like by and large, they're pretty easy dirt roads, right? Mm-hmm. Now this ID.4 is the launch one, which is just rear wheel drive.
Okay.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot more fun. Also, maybe contributed to the stuck, but.
Well, so I was able to grab 2 special stages, which was so great. I mean, Tanner was so gracious of like, you can do 2 stages. And I'm like, okay, sure. Like, I don't want to, he's a champion and he's the one that put this whole thing together. I'm just some dorky journalist that, sometimes gets to drive fun cars. So, and he co-drove for me, which is even more hilarious to have Tanner go like, just get up on the berm. Like I basically got a free driving lesson. It was amazing. It was so great.
That's rad. Is that the standard steering wheel they left in it too? I hope there was no airbag, right?
Oh no, there wasn't. Well, maybe they turned it off, but there was. Yeah,
but it had like the full. Oh, jeez.
Of course, they went with the white interior.
The white.
Yeah, how is that
for
so
the dirt
clean?
of Mexico?
But you know what though? We were running a windshield, and it had plastic side windows. So it didn't. There was hardly any dirt in that vehicle. Like we have pumpers, but like I didn't really need it because I wasn't never in the dirt. It was
okay. Like the silt.
Yeah, no, we were never in any of that. But so I was driving on day 2, on the first stage of day 2. And I was out of San Felipe, and like I know that area fairly well. And we're toddling along, and I was like, oh yeah, this is part of the 250 race course, and they did this. And oh yeah, that's where Lordstown got stopped when they, when they ran out of juice, was right here. Oh yeah, this road's real whooped out. But and I'm like showing off, right? Cause I'm like, oh yeah, I totally know this area. I'm so cool. And we turned off, we crossed the highway and turned off onto this super, super soft, just like beach soft sand. And we both get on it, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay, here we go. And I'm just floored, right? And granted, like as I've said, we're not aired down. We don't really know, you can't pre-run, so we don't really know what's coming up, right? Tanner's got the book, but he doesn't know where the hell we are on the book, and the book just says, at one point Tanner was like, I don't know where we are, just follow the GPS. It's fine, we got GPS, you're fine.
Was it the basic standard navigation, or did they get you have like a trail GPS?
We had we were using lead nav.
Okay.
So we had lead nav on an iPad, and then the book was like the 3 little squares. And so the first one is your kilometer, where you are. The second one is a drawing of what you're going to see. And then the third square will be like any words, like, danger or whatever. So
danger zone.
Yeah. So you have to like interpret that for the vehicle that you're in, which for us was hardly ever a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're in this soft sand, and like you can get a stock vehicle, you can get any vehicle through soft sand if you have momentum and you need clearance. And if you don't have either of those, you need travel. Well, like we like didn't really have any of those things. So we got through like a quarter mile of it, and I'm just pinned, and we're doing like 5 miles an hour, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this has got to stop. It's got to stop. And we came around this corner, and it just like kept going. And then it started going uphill. Boy. And we both at the same time were like, we have to get off of this. So we got off the trail where normally like, it's a little bit harder packed.
Right.
It was not. And now we're stuck in this rear-wheel drive vehicle. So Reese Millen, who prepped the vehicle, I don't know why, did not put any recovery gear in the car.
At all? Oh, that's...
No. And the idea was that
convenient.
This little buggy, this little LS-powered buggy, was supposed to be behind us the whole time. Like we had kind of our own personal sweep in case we had any troubles. And we were always at the back anyway, so that was the idea. Like if we ever got into trouble, the buggy could just pull us out. Well,
sure.
The buggy was having problems of its own, and you can't count on having somebody with you the whole time. Like put some goddamn Max Tracks in the car.
Seriously.
Well, we didn't have any. The buggy is overheated over there somewhere. So Tanner and I we get out and we're like, shit, what are we gonna do?
What are you gonna dig with?
Yeah, he had a pair of flip-flops in the car. So
nice.
Digging with his flip-flops, okay? And there's those those giant star burrs that are all over the place, and it's like all in our suits, and we're digging. There's I throw this snake off, and we're trying to find rocks. Of course, like the one time you want to find rocks to put under the wheels, you can't find a single rock anywhere.
It's usually how it goes.
We're airing down. We're trying our hardest. It's not gonna happen. Like we'd move an inch, and it's not gonna happen. If we had all-wheel drive, maybe, but it's not gonna happen with rear-wheel drive. So finally, the buggy shows up. And then they get stuck, right? Because they're rear-wheel drive with 500 horsepower. So they get stuck.
Perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
You had combined 4-wheel drive.
Yes. 2 4-wheel drive vehicles drive by us and don't help.
What?
That was awesome. Then here comes
that was awesome.
Original NORRA, like the official NORRA recovery people.
Mm-hmm.
They show up. It was like this giant old Bronco or something. Those guys got stuck.
Oh Jesus! So this was like stuck. So it wasn't just the limitations of drive wheels. It was like
Well, the Bronco got stuck because he's like, "Oh, I'm not in 4-wheel drive." I'm like,
"Why are you not in 4-wheel drive, bud?" Like,
I don't know. So at this point, we're also trying to communicate with our team, to like, hey, can you come get us? But the chase vehicle is like a 10,000 pound Super Duty, right? So like, don't come this way. But there was a hard packed access road, so they were able to make it into us. Oh my gosh, there were some knockoff Max Tracks, and we were unstuck in like 20 minutes.
Nice.
We'd been there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Would have added 20 pounds to the ID.4.
And it's hard because like I'm there as a journalist, right? And I'm like, look, if the team doesn't want to put Max Tracks in the car,
You got to talk about it.
But yeah, I can't. But I'm not. It's not my place to say like you should put. It's not my place. I'm the journalist.
Yeah.
I'm important.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So anyway, so we didn't finish the rest of that stage, and then that we ended up being too late to start the next stage. So we had full time on both of those stages, which was a big bummer because, you know, like we wanted to be able to complete every single stage. But then the rest of the rally was like really flawless. The rear shocks kind of burned out basically on the first stage, and they swapped them out for the stock shocks in the rear. So the rear was pretty bouncy, but you know, you just deal with it. And it ran on those stock shocks for the rest of the time. We didn't have a flat tire. We had Yokohama Geolanders, no flat tires at all. We lost a few tires off of the buggy. That was fun. The buggy was a hot mess.
Jeez.
The vehicle that should be purpose-built and perfect for the environment had all of the issues.
The thing that wasn't supposed to make it had like zero problems. But yeah, like no,
That's terrible.
Batteries never got hot. There were a few times where we were like, oh, are we gonna make it? Like, you know, coming into the finish line with, you know, 3 miles on the clock. Tanner got real close to the closing time on one particular stage because I think we had to charge on stage. So, you know, so there were some moments where we were like, ah, but like by and large, it was fairly flawless for a Baja race.
That's good.
Communication could have been better, but that's always.
Limitations you were working around that.
Yeah.
Otherwise might have made it easier.
Was the chase buggy an entrant too?
No. So what NORRA does, NORRA has sweep vehicles just to make sure that everybody. So we were always last. So it was just, I mean, it's not like we're passing people. We started last every single day, and then the buggy was just behind us so that if we came up to people that were stuck, you know, the buggy would stop and help them and then kind of catch up to us. But we never actually saw anybody that was stopped after us, you know, like we never came across people that needed help.
Well, didn't have any recovery gear anyways, so.
No, the buggy had a toe strap, but the buggy didn't have max tracks. But the buggy didn't have a toe strap, but it didn't fucking matter. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Jeez.
Is the Fillmore Ford still running down there?
The what?
The Fillmore Ford. It was
oh, is that the big
it's like a 78 F-150, I think.
No, I didn't see that. I did see an F3000 that had it had 3 rows of seating. They had extended the wheelbase.
Oh my God.
About 1,000.
3,000.
I mean, I'm just making that up. I don't know what.
1,000 inches. Yeah.
Yeah. The Snorton Norton wasn't there. Usually that 1950s car is there, but it wasn't there. But a Safari Porsche was there, and they were doing pretty good. There's always a couple that does it on a bike, but she rides behind him on the bike, like 2 people on one bike, and I'm like, oh God,
I think I found that picture
sounds
just
horrible.
Now. Of the Ford?
Of the
Oh yeah,
couple.
Oh my God, worst seat in the whole event right there.
They do it every year, and they're just like happy as clams doing it, and I'm like, I feel like I would die.
Kevin and Michelle Bush.
Yep.
Unofficial overall winners.
Right? Crazy. I mean, yeah, unofficial overall winners in the 2-person on one motorcycle category.
Category of them.
I think that was just unofficial winner of bikes.
Oh, those pictures going through the cacti.
Oh, that section
cacti.
So
it's so rad.
I know. That's the thing about NORRA is
cool.
They take you to some beautiful, beautiful places. And it's not like, I mean, the terrain is difficult, but it's not as difficult as the Baja 1000. So it's a great way for people who haven't raced Baja to go down there and experience it. And like, it doesn't mean anything. No one's racing for points or anything. And it's even with COVID,
everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Even with COVID, you know, it's just very chill and relaxed, and everyone's having a beer at the end of the day. And is that the Porsche?
I think it was the Porsche that went by. I clicked on it because
the camera.
It started with Glickenhaus's boot on the title page, and I was like, well, I'll click that Instagram.
Oh yeah, the boot was
remind me.
And the boot beat the Bronco, and so they were
they were thrilled.
About
We should try to get him on the show because he's nearby.
Yeah, Ross is like down the street from Glickenhaus.
Yeah, he's like 20 minutes away, honestly.
Let's
There's the
see.
Porsche.
Oh, there's the Porsche. Oh, it's so good.
That's not your bike.
Oh, that's the class that I race when I race.
1600, right?
Yeah, 16 car.
Oh.
That's a
They have
golf
a side-by-side class?
Yeah, that's a golf cart.
That's not Fillmore Ford. It's too new.
No, but look at that. God.
I love watching
So
stuff
much
throw
suspension.
sand
I know. It's so much fun.
as the suspension moves.
Is
Side
Is that a Manx?
is oh god, that thing was
So
helpless.
dope.
So speaking of things that throw sand, how's Buddy?
Buddy's so good. Well, Buddy needs ball joint replacement.
The caveat, but
Buddy did his first Hoop DX last weekend.
I was getting to that.
yeah, I want to talk about Buddy.
I thought it would be fun to drive like 12 hours round trip to Mormon Lake in Arizona.
To also drive.
Yeah, to also drive. And they had like a mile long little rally cross course set up. And he was great. He was, fan favorite. Look at him go. Oh, he's so adorable. Oh, he's faster than that though. This is the
pre-run.
yeah. No, I'm gonna say that's my internet slowing him down.
Yeah.
So is the ball joint a result of this little endeavor, or is the ball joint a
I'm not 100% sure. I did like 3 laps and then I was like, well, I got to get out and check underneath the car because that's what you do.
Mhm.
So I got out and I would just like wiggle the front wheels a little bit. And I was like, ooh, do I hear a click? I think I might hear a click. Then there's, at Gambler stuff, there's always people there that will help you. So I enlisted the help of some people and they're like, yeah, maybe I can hear it. And I had to drive that car 6 hours back.
Oh, that's not disconcerting at all.
That specifically says, remember, stupid, you have to drive it home. So I was like, you know what? You had a little bit of fun. You should probably just try to get it home.
Cut your losses and not take the chance.
Yeah. And like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a diagnostician. So at first I thought it might be the hub, but then I really did look under there and then a giant rip around the boot. And I'm like,
oh,
the ball drive. I'm like, that's probably it.
You don't want that to go really wrong at speed on the drive home.
No. So he was able to get home. There was no heat generated in the hub. So I think the bearings are okay. I think it's just the ball joint. So I need to watch some YouTube videos and figure that out, how to do it.
Isn't it funny? That's our go-to for everything.
Yeah, right?
You just jack it up, take the wheel off, undo a couple of nuts.
Yeah, this guy
until it falls down.
Dude on YouTube did it in like 14 minutes, and then you do it and it's like fucking 8 hours.
3.5 days.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I know. So that's why I was like, well, it's probably gonna wait. He's probably gonna wait for a minute.
That's my repair on the 94 Land Cruiser. I watched the guy like tear out the front knuckles and replace the shafts and all and the axle seals, and video's 27 minutes long. There might be a 2-part. So like I think it's like 43 minutes.
So it's 45
43 minutes total, right? 3.5 weeks. I had that truck up for 3.5 weeks and just I replaced calipers. It was such a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, and then you're like, okay, so you're like, okay, so what do I need? I need a 10, I need a 17, I need a hammer, right? You get all the things that you think you need, and then you're like, oh wait, what is that thing what is that? How does that work?
Yep.
Like
the bearing puller with the thing with the pin in the middle that like.
Oh yeah. Well, on the Miatas, it's way easier just like replace the whole hub.
Right. It's the one nut in the middle, and then it just
you just replace the whole hub.
Yeah.
There was I redid the brakes with a friend of mine, and I was like, well, yeah, this is so easy. Like, it's just like a little thing, it's running a caliper, and it's really easy. But I didn't know about the emergency brake little
shoe inside. Yeah. Oh god.
And on the Miata, it's on the backside, and it's this crazy super recess thing. And if you did not know it was there, you would never ever know it was there. Mm-hmm. And we could not figure out how to get this. I think it was we're trying to. I don't remember exactly what happened and what.
Like get the rotor off or something that should be super easy.
I don't really remember, but I just called
my
Mazda, and I'm like, why won't this come off? So, oh yeah, there's a bolt. It's hidden. You can't find it.
Yeah.
I have a dumb question.
I have a smart answer.
Was the ID.4 painted 2 different colors?
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Like, because I was looking at it like close up of I went to the CNET article. So I was like, ooh, there's more pictures here. I
Okay,
could show
so-
more pictures.
Yeah.
2 things. Part 1, did the wrap have a purpose? Was it to just make it look different, or did it have like a significance of any sort?
I don't
And-
think so.
Okay, part 2 does not look as cool as the Rivian wrap. Just saying.
Oh no, the Rivian wrap was dope. The Rivian wrap was pretty amazing.
You happened upon one of those like just out in the desert recently, right?
I did. I had taken Buddy up to there's like some little easy dirt roads around Joshua Tree going into the park, and I was like, oh, let's see what's up here. And I had picked up a hitchhiker, but I was saving his life. There was a hiker that was like, I didn't think this hike was this long. Can you please give me a ride to my car? I was like, yeah, sure, get in the car. So I
need water.
Yeah, I know, right? They'd been out on the road. They'd been out hiking for like 40 miles. I'm like, well, that's the problem right there. Anyway, so I drove him to the trailhead where his car was, and I was just making sure that like his car was going to start, because you don't know. And there's other vehicles parked there. I did not even notice the Rivian. And as I'm sitting there waiting for this dude to like get all his poop in a group, I hear this, what, Emmy? I'm like, wait, what? And then I see the Rivian, and then it's like one of the engineers whom I don't actually know, but he knows me because he has seen all of the footage, and he's seen
Nice.
and he's heard us talking on our little microphone, giving them notes about what the truck was
Right.
doing.
He was behind the scenes on the other side of the computer the whole time.
This poor guy's had you in his ears for months.
I know, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I bent that control arm. But it was great. So we just did like a little drive like up to this really cool kind of lookout point where you can see like Palm Springs on one side and part of the Morongo Valley on the other side.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. So it was really funny. And I was like, oh.
I can't tell from those pictures if the Rivian makes Buddy look tiny or if Buddy makes the Rivian look huge.
It's probably 6 to 1.
It
Probably
doesn't
both.
look as big.
It's
I was
funny.
just discussing cargo capacity with Rivian's with our friend Robbie DeGraff the other day, because he like listed it out in like all of the 3-row SUVs. And he says it's 110. I'm like, yeah, but like how much of that is frunk? Because we were talking about the R1S. I was like, how much of that is frunk versus actual space behind third row seat?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
And neither did he. He was like, I'll have to get back to you, because like I don't think it's much.
Well, I can tell you that 2 people easily fit in the frunk of the Rivian. And you could probably even close.
Are those normal size
Just in
humans
case.
or Rebecca?
Rebecca and me.
Yeah.
So like one slightly larger person,
One normal size and one tiny.
so it evens out. It averages out to be like a small normal person.
That's funny.
Small normal person. So 3 kids is what you're saying. So that's what I heard there. Is I can get 3 of them in there.
But yeah,
I don't think people is how they measure cargo capacity. I could be wrong.
Jill Simonillo still does. Girl in a Trunk. Still does.
But she, oh my gosh.
I got nothing there.
Possible. She is. I was a drive partner with her once, and I was like, I am a giant.
Yeah, Jill's not
Jill,
tall.
yeah, for your listeners, Jill is, if she's 5 feet, it's pretty amazing if she is, and I am 5'9". So I'm just like, hi, I'm a bear, and she's like, hi, I'm a squirrel.
My wife shared an Instagram reel with me the other day, and it was a guy like talking about how his wife's 5 foot flat. And like he had her like come over into the video, and I don't know what the song was behind it, but as soon as she showed up, he's like, "Where'd you go?" Because she's just standing in front of him, and it was below us. I was like, "That's every day for us," because I'm 6'4" and she's 5'2.5".
Oh yeah, so yeah,
like,
you get it.
Yeah, we live that life. So
skirting the seat back, like we're just waiting for the seat in the car to keep going back.
that's literally
every day free.
We haven't told Emmy we bought a Suburban.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 4 kids. Like,
I mean, I guess, yeah.
And minivan wasn't going to play, but the best part of the Suburban is the driver settings. And it's
the buttons on the.
Well, and it's tied to key fobs too. So like you don't even have to touch the button. You hit your key fob, it's going to your settings. So
until you get it.
And when she drives, it goes right to hers. So like,
correct.
Yeah,
cool. It's like super
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah.
Hey, last time you were on, you couldn't tell us how the Rivian drove during the rally.
Oh, I can tell you now.
I know you can. I'm very excited to hear. Because like, and you can compare it to this, even though they like the ID.4 is not an off-road
they're
vehicle. Like it's
Not only that, those shoppers are never going to be
Yeah.
the same ever.
Well, there could be some cross between an R1S and an ID.4. Like it's
There
similar
could
bodies.
be.
Okay, fair. I was just saying R1T.
Yeah, R1T is definitely not.
So, okay, so just to catch people up, we took my navigator, Rebecca Donaghy, and I took the Rivian R1T to 7 days driving all off-road in the Rebelle Rally, which is a navigational rally. It's not a race for speed. It's a rally for navigational accuracy. Having said that, you can't go slowly because you have a lot of checkpoints to find during a day. So you have to move and manage your time well, but it's not about who crosses the line first. Anyway, and so we thought like, we'll take an electric vehicle. Like that should be great. And you guys, it's really good.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so-
really
It's
good.
really good.
And it wasn't even like fully baked. It was really good. So we had the middle battery, which I think is 105 kilowatt hours.
Sounds
and
right.
yeah, I think so. And our battery was not, even that was not fully baked. So we were really only running at like 75% of that battery.
Mhm.
And we averaged 167 miles on a charge once we did all of the math, which is fantastic, right?
It definitely is.
Yeah. So
And
if
you had
look
recovery
at-
gear.
If you look at the Volkswagen,
Yeah.
and we have recovery gear. Look at those Max Tracks right on the hood.
Yeah, seriously.
Or right on the roof. If you look at the battery, so the ID.4 only has an 82 kilowatt hour battery. So, you know, that makes sense that we got that much more range. Now I didn't really air down a lot until we got into the soft sand, because again, like I would like to make sure that I keep that rolling resistance. We regened as much as we possibly could. I mean, anytime there was a downhill, I was like, regen, you know, and we're just trying to feed back.
Oh
into
yeah,
that.
recuperate as much as you possibly can.
Yeah. But because we were an electric vehicle, like we did have to make some concessions for the checkpoints that we were going to go to, and there were a lot that we skipped. We knew exactly where they were, but we skipped because we didn't have that range. Next year when we take it, because we're taking it again.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's so excited.
That's
It's the
amazing.
only truck we've taken twice. We should
The
have
truck and not the SUV, or just
no, we'll take the truck. Yeah, we'll take the truck.
take the truck.
We what was I saying?
You should take it
we
again.
should have the biggest battery.
Okay.
And I'm
Great.
hoping that we'll be able to actually do a couple of days without charging in between. And I'm sorry, there's a siren going and the dogs in the neighborhood are going to go nuts. In a minute. The dogs go crazy. Yep, there they go. Hear them?
One sounds a little
You're not wrong,
coyote-ish.
Once a day, this whole neighborhood just erupts.
They thought it was a dog.
So funny.
Okay, is the frunk power assisted for opening and closing?
Yes.
So it's like a rear lift gate kind of thing. It just happens to be on the front of the truck.
But it's also frightening because, like, what if you don't have any? I mean, it's on the 12,
Yeah,
but you're like, what if that doesn't work? You know?
that sounds needlessly complicated.
I mean, I wish that there were like a backup mechanical, something that you could pull.
Like a hand crank.
Like starting a Maxwell or something.
Yeah, right?
Sir, are
Oh,
you
man.
starting your vehicle? No, I'm trying to close the hood.
100 years later, we returned to where we were.
There's no such
Actually,
thing as
more than
progress.
100 years, actually.
Hey,
Well,
though,
what was really cool about the Rivian is that, so it had all these crazy off-road settings, right? So we normally went in, there's 5 different settings. There's 2 for off-road. One is super high, but it will only really work at very low, like rock crawling speeds.
Mhm.
We were at the second to highest, which is, I mean, even that, it's like, 12 or 13 inches of ground clearance.
Yeah, and it's like flat bottom too. It's not like there's
totally flat bottomed. Although you might see in that video, we had some hydraulic lines that were kind of sticking out from underneath, and we were like, that has to go when you
oh
guys
yeah.
do this. That's
Oh,
bad
yeah.
juju. So, and the geometry is really good. I mean, like that approach angle is just great. The departure angle is great. Like I never stuffed it. I never like had to worry about a breakover part. That's the power
It's a power wagon, I think.
Yeah,
Power
definitely.
There were 2 of them this year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Does it jog my memory? Does it have a? Is it what kind of transfer case is it? Is it?
Nada.
There's nothing, right?
No. So it's
Huh.
full-time all-wheel drive, but there's no lockers, there's no low gear, there's none of that. But you don't need that, right? Because you have almost 800 pound-feet of torque, and it's right there.
When in doubt, throttle out.
You move your foot this much on the gas pedal, and you've got all of that torque.
Man.
So you can really go slowly when you need to going over obstacles and stuff, and then it doesn't matter because you have crazy amounts of torque. And the way their like traction control system works, it's always putting the power down to, well, you have a motor in each, you have 4 motors, and they're center line motors, right? So each wheel has its own motor, so it's always getting power, right? It's always, and it's able to put power down to whatever has got the most traction. So there was never a moment where I was like, man, I wish I had lockers.
Right.
You know?
I'm very curious to see them on, on like the trails in Utah, or like the
Exactly.
steep articulation type
need
stuff.
lockers. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, like when we had when we were driving the Wrangler, I think I locked up the rear once. And I didn't,
that's not the right situation for it.
Yeah, but it was just like, I'm just going to make it a little bit easier on myself. The terrain in the Rebelle Rally is not the challenge, it's the navigating. Having said that, yeah, there's some hard stuff, but like by and large, you're good, What we had a hard time with, of course, was the sand. The sand is really difficult. The truck is heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's about the same as a Raptor.
Yeah.
Less than a T-Rex, whatever it is.
Yeah, or the T-Rex. So, and you've got the same amount of like power to weight. In fact, your power to weight ratio is better than the Raptor.
Yeah.
The Raptor's out there doing all those things. So like,
Mm-hmm.
just do it. But we were pretty conservative because we didn't really have a chance for a podium this year. Just because, we were learning the truck and learning how to race or rally with an electric vehicle. So once we got to Glamis, we were like, well, we're not really in for a podium, so let's just be careful with the truck and not take any risks, because the last thing you want to do is get stuck when it's 100 degrees. So we didn't have to take any risks, so we didn't.
True.
This coming up year, are we gonna try to be in the fight more? Like, yeah, because we understand how it works. We understand the problems and the advantages of trying to rally an electric vehicle, and we'll be able to take advantage of that and then solve those problems ahead of time as much as we can.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's more of a known quantity going into next year. This year was very much like
it was a giant experiment. We're like,
yeah. It might work, it might not. We'll see.
I love that reaction. Like, I don't know. Like, we'll find out.
I don't know.
Yeah, we do that a lot.
And you get to hang out with another truck from the Rebelle. You're
Yeah,
with
I was just on the day 201.
Yeah, we had Rochelle on recently, so we talked about it.
I know my God, you guys, this photo by
It's killer.
Baz, never had such a good photo before. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, so that stupid thing is a LX.
It's
which
so
was
nuts,
Land Cruiser, right? So it's got capability, but they threw a supercharger on it for 550 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque, and there's the air suspension will go up further, and they've got the general grabber X3s, I think, and custom bumpers, and like, it's just like,
that's the coolest.
Already big and heavy vehicle into something that's a giant.
Yeah, it's enormous.
No, but I mean, the stuff that we did, there was nothing that challenged it. I went up a couple of things. At first, I went up at everything open, and it did it just fine. Like it spun wheels a little bit, but not too bad. And then I did it again with everything locked, and I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm going up anything. Like,
comfortable and cushy.
Yeah, and then like, there's like no head toss. You're just like, oh, my heated seats are on. It's great.
The best. Oh man.
Great.
Does it have a heating steering wheel?
Oh, of course it does.
Cooled seats too, probably.
Yeah, they were heated and cooled seats. Not massaging seats though, which I'm kind of like, Lexus, top of the line, man.
If you're gonna go, you might as well go all the way. Come on.
Exactly. No, so that was fun. I got to drive that a little bit. It's terrible on gas.
Of course, supercharged V8.
550 horsepower. Yeah, I mean,
terrible on gas. In fact, Rochelle and Taylor during the Rebelle Rally this year, there was one day in particular that was really long, and they had to siphon a gallon out of the Nissan Frontier.
oh my
Really?
God.
From Lynn?
Yeah, they had to siphon from Lynn.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know. And
Lynn didn't mention that when we talked to her
No.
about it.
I
That was
hope
convenient.
Cool. And I do remember sorry, motorcycle.
That sounded
all
okay.
good.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah, it
desert.
didn't sound like bad.
I told Rochelle, I was like, look, if I need to tow charge this Rivian, you are the only one that's going to be able to do it.
You're
So
the only.
Yeah, right.
She was like, okay.
Stay nearby.
Okay.
I saw her a few times.
The Power Wagons could have helped, couldn't they?
Yeah, the Power Wagon. But I'm not, honestly,
What's their tow rating?
if the Power Wagon was actually competing. I think the Power Wagons were mechanical vehicles. There was an F-250 that competed, and I was like, well,
Jesus.
that's so.
I thought Nina was in one of the Power Wagons.
Yeah, I guess
Barlow?
that makes sense. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Because she's what, Team Four Corners?
Yes. And
Yeah.
she's coming back again this year. And I don't know if she's coming in the Power Wagon or the TRX, which would be terrible because it wouldn't have the range. Or
7
maybe
miles per gallon.
the Wrangler 4xe.
Ooh.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those actually. Oh,
Have you?
speaking of, yeah, I have. I saw one the other day.
Oh, wow.
Blue tow hooks are going to be weird for a long time. Red tow hooks are still weird. But you spent time in the Wrangler to end all Wranglers,
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
the 392. Oh my God.
Tell us.
guys.
Tell us.
It is the dumbest, the most fun, the stupidest. Why does this thing exist that you will ever drive in your entire life? You get in it and you start it up, right? You press the button and it defaults to the loud exhaust, right?
Yeah, the cold start's obnoxious.
Totally obnoxious, right? 100% obnoxious. So, and the thing is, like, it doesn't really look any different. Like, if you knew, like, you'd see the badging or like the hood scoop and that kind of stuff.
The wheels, yeah.
Wheels, I think, are a little bit different, but it looks like your regular Wrangler, right? So you
Mhm.
start it up and it's so fucking loud. And then you pull up next to like a 5-liter Mustang and they look at you and you're like, oh, it's on.
Yep.
And you
You'd
floor
probably
it,
win as long as it
whole
wasn't
van comes up just like, whoa, and you are
like trophy track.
and you're driving like this unaerodynamic rectangle, like big block of a thing, and the steering is just all over
Driving a
the place,
brick.
and the brakes are not good. You know, and you're like, oh, I got to brake earlier. And
Dives forward. Yeah.
that's all I did was like, we picked up a friend from the airport in it, and then we took it to the Bob's Big Boy in Los Angeles where they have like the cruise-in nights, and we took it and we opened the hood for everyone to come see our
Nice.
Generally, I avoid
That's
car
funny.
shows if I see people open hoods, but that one, you
Yeah.
gotta.
Well, and like Bob's Big Boy isn't really like it's an oldie, it's like an old cruiser restaurant from the 1950s, and it still kind of maintains that car culture in the valley. And nobody else had their hood open, but we were like, we're gonna do it.
Please look
Wait
at
till
my
you
Hemi.
see what we
I know, it's
got.
like this 6.4 liters. But
Only a
we
matter of
were
time before they're
like,
supercharging them.
it, like it's great, right? Because it's super fast and it's a lot of fun, and but it still has, it's not like it has any long travel suspension in it. It's not, I mean, they've certainly like beefed up the suspension a little bit, but in the end, it's still like a 20-mile-an-hour vehicle through the whoops. So it would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, even if like the Mojave on the Gladiator, like that suspension allows you to go a little bit faster in the whoops. Granted, that's like a 5-link system in the rear and blah, blah, like that's a whole different thing. But if and I'm not an engineer, but it would be nice if they could do something so that you could actually use that speed. But where you can use it is, you know, if you're like at the bottom of a dune and it's all whooped out at the bottom, you don't have to worry about carrying any momentum through that. You can baby it through those whoops, and then you can get on the gas.
Hammer it.
Fine.
Yeah.
fine.
Then you can
Actually-
pretend that you're
you got a wheel off the ground in that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that they were supposed to have released the Mojave Wrangler at the end of last year, and then just like COVID didn't really allow that to happen for some reason.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I mean, like, it's stupid and it's expensive. I think it's $30,000 over the starting price of a standard Rubicon. 30 grand.
That's so nuts.
I mean, if you were to swap one of those engines in yourself, it's probably a $20,000 endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. And you're probably not going to do it right anyway, and you won't have a
Yeah,
warranty.
and you get a warranty.
Yeah, it's
So it makes sense.
really fun.
It feels like the FCA or whatever it is now. Was it Stellantis?
Stellantis.
I did ask my doctor. I am approaching that age, so I had to ask my doctor. It's more cholesterol related than anything else. Just cholesterol related. But like, is it peak internal combustion engine? Like between Jeep, between Ram, between
It's that and the T-Rex.
Yeah, for FCA, absolutely. FCA's answer to everything is, well, let's just put more horsepower in it.
Yeah, more cylinders and supercharger.
Yeah, just throw a bunch of power at it. And like, I mean, they have those mild hybrids on the Rams and the Wrangler too. And then they
Wrangler too. Yeah.
And they just came out with the 4xe plug-in hybrid Wrangler. But like, can you imagine a fully electric vehicle from Dodge or Jeep?
I think the first one will be the Pacifica.
Yeah, that's true, because they already have that plug-in hybrid.
Maybe.
The
Yeah.
Pacifica's a good minivan though, you guys.
Dude,
It is.
We have to do a rental car in the next couple of
Pacifica
weeks.
Hellcat.
And I'm hoping it's a
Please.
Pacifica because it worked really well last time for us. I just want another.
And there's a top of the line Pacifica with like this cool sporty red interior.
Ooh, a red
Yeah,
interior?
you open the side door and it's like
Is it
red.
really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the
Pacifica red interior.
I'm trying.
I mean,
Ross,
they're leather.
holy crap.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a lot.
Show it. It's so good.
I'm trying to find the right image. I'm just gonna share the
Okay,
search
so
screen because
give
it's
it.
kind of all over the place. It's an S line.
It's a bloodbath
Look, I mean, come on, red
line.
in a minivan. Give me a break.
It's especially if it's like
Okay.
a silver minivan too. Like
Yeah. Oh, one of those photos is actually mine. The third
Oh,
row,
nice.
second from the right.
third row, second from the right. This one.
That one, yeah.
Oh, it's tiny.
When it's a small picture.
Well,
When ex-FCA now Stellantis does a good leather interior, like the leather that they have for the top trim and the SRT Grand Cherokees and like the SRT Dodges, that like almost baseball knit leather kind. Well, no,
Yeah.
you can't say that and not talk about Audi TT.
I was to say that
but that, like,
stitching is
That deep brown that they have is like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
soft and it's nice and they do a good job with it. I
Yeah.
just don't know about red.
No, you know why? Because it's something that shouldn't be, but it is, and it's cool. That's why.
Like almost 500 horsepower Wrangler.
Shouldn't be, but it's cool.
like they have some fancy interiors in the Pacificas. Look at all this stitching.
Look at that. Come
Plus
on,
the
captain's
Lombard,
chairs. Look
yeah,
at, there's
pillows.
There's lumbar
Yeah,
pillows
yeah.
for the second row passengers.
Oh,
And then on the second row too, they have those the little in-car entertainment, which is usually like, don't buy that, that's stupid. But this has like all these built-in
Mhm.
games, and like you can hook up your Netflix to it and all that stuff. Like if I had kids, which I never would do because that's a terrible thing.
Dude, we figured out
They're the
we
shut
figured
up
out-
devices.
We figured out the Suburban had Wi-Fi, and they gave us a free trial of 3
Uh-huh.
gigabytes, right?
Yeah.
So it was supposed to last for 30 days or 3 gigabytes, whichever you get through first. 6 days. It lasted 6 days, and I was re-upping that crap.
Oh, that's funny.
My favorite is my wife was taking one son to his baseball game, and he's 6. He has an iPhone, but it's not connected to any cellular data. It only works on Wi-Fi. And he was like, "We're taking the Suburban, right?" And she's like, "No, we're driving the Sequoia." And he's like, "I'm not going then," because he couldn't use his phone. And like dude, do you realize how spoiled you are?
What a life.
Oh,
That's really funny.
it's he
Yeah.
has his sense of humor is very dry anyway. So when he says like I'm not going, like I don't know if that's a joke or if it's real.
He's serious.
There's some guy on Instagram who does reels where he does firstborn, does middle, and then does youngest, and they kill us because it's our kids every time. Like it's just
Oh man.
Anyway, I'm gonna wreck the
About
show.
what you'd expect.
Yeah. And although I got to tell you, I haven't been more happy to be single and child free as I have been this past year, because I look at my friends that have to deal with their husbands and their kids, and I'm like, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a pandemic car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I came through it like I look at it as a test. It was like, how did we handle this? Like we pretty good. Like we still like each other. Like all right, so we made good choices.
You
like,
made it through to the other side.
And more kids was beneficial.
Why? Because you can have them work in the fields? Like what?
No. Like you can pawn them off
Put
on
them
each
to work
other.
in the
like,
factory.
Oh yeah.
12 can team up with 2, but if that's not going well, 6 and 2 can go off and hang over here, where 9 can just go be by itself for a long time. Like you can move them around. Like parents that only have one kid, like they're stuck. Like somebody's got to talk to that.
Oh
thing.
Yeah. Someone's got to talk to that thing. And it's not me.
we have those conversations. We're like, not it. I dealt with vomit in a bathroom earlier. I'm out. Like somebody else is up.
I've done my time, so it's your time.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, I just, you know what? I just had to take care of myself, and it was delightful.
Right. See, and that I get it. That sounds nice too.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Actually, the lady that lives kind of across the little dirt alley from me, I'm pretty sure she's running a daycare. And right now there's like 6 kids jumping on a trampoline.
Wait, it's Sunday.
Then maybe they're not. I don't know. But there's always kids there and they're always jumping on the trampoline.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like, I want to go jump on the trampoline.
Hell yeah.
How long has it been since you jumped on a trampoline?
I mean, like probably last Tuesday. No.
Okay. Much more recent than I expected. So there you go.
always take the opportunity to jump on a trampoline.
We have neighbors and they have a trampoline, and one of their sons has had a broken foot multiple times.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like maybe get rid of the trampoline, guys. Like,
yeah. How'd you get hurt? Do you know?
Off the trampoline.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Like stop getting a trampoline.
What dangerous devices.
I have a
so good.
A friend in Utah who I think he's got 5 kids total now, but because they live in Utah, like they ski a lot, they get outside a lot, they like snowboard, they're starting to do tricks and stuff. They got a trampoline. He dug a hole and
put it in the ground.
It's ground
That's actually
level.
absolutely
So
brilliant.
You're not 3 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Unless you're jumping on it, and then when you come off, it's not nearly quite the. But
they're smart.
They have a large fence in their backyard, so the kids climb the fence to then jump onto the trampoline and then just go.
You know what you do? You take the trampoline out, hide under it, and then when somebody goes to jump on it, you just scare the crap out of them.
He has a series of social posts where he scares his wife all the time. So that's eventually coming, I guess. So.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I didn't do this, but I had friends that would like jump off the roof into the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, I don't trust my physical abilities enough to do that. So.
Oh no.
Well, and
this is gonna look wrong or really wrong.
I've seen enough videos of people sliding or slipping or like they're at that last point of contact where they need sure footing and then they're hitting concrete. Like.
But I mean, like you're 8 years old. Like, what do you know? You're invincible. Of course, I'm gonna jump.
Yeah.
In the pool.
Made of like Jello and
But you're jumping into pools of Jello. Those aren't the pools I'm talking about, Ross.
No, who was telling us about that recently? Somebody has a YouTube channel and just like apparently fills pools with Jello and stuff like that.
Like real pools, not like
like full size pools.
What?
Apparently that is a thing.
I'm kind of intrigued, actually.
I'm terrified. That sounds like a sensory nightmare.
World's largest Jello pool. Can you swim in Jello? Is a YouTube video that exists.
Oh my God. I love that this is a car podcast and we're talking about Jello.
Oh,
I mean, we're off in the weeds as
we're
well.
very
Like,
much shiny object. So
yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
How far could you drive a car across a pool full of
it's
Jello?
the glitter bomb guy.
That means nothing to me.
I think he's a former NASA engineer, but like when all the porch package stealing was happening, he created a literally like a bomb device that would spray glitter in their car. It would do stink. It would release like a stink or like a fart spray in their car, glitter and something else. And he had it rigged with like 4 or 6 iPhones that would send video back. So like he would get audio and video of these people opening this thing in their cars and he would post it. It was hilarious. I think he got in trouble legally for it, but like,
yeah, for building a bomb, you don't say.
Well, like bomb was like, it would spin the glitter out. So it would like shoot it sideways. It wasn't actually a pyrotechnic device of some kind.
Right.
But the herpes of the art world. Sorry. Somebody said that once and I just can't unhear it.
I mean,
that's pretty good.
That's
terrible.
That's an accurate description of
I know.
glitter and herpes.
Dude,
so
yeah, I went to a pretty artsy college and that was what they called glitter. So
yeah, glitter is.
I took art for elementary school teachers, as my roommates referred to it as finger painting 102. There was a finger painting element to it, so I didn't really argue. But they would also be frustrated because I'd be finishing my art projects while they would be doing their DiffEQ stuff, and so live with engineers. They're going to make fun of the elementary school teacher major.
Therein lies the jealousy.
Emme, is there anything you want to promote? Something to watch out for? Something coming up?
What do I have going on?
You rode in a really old car with Lynn, right?
I rode in a really old car with Lynn. That was so much fun.
Oh,
and
that was rad.
Haggerty is so good. About Alice, don't remember the last name, but she was the first woman to drive cross country, and so Lynn got some like oldie timey costumes, and she found this guy who had a 1909 Maxwell.
Ramsey.
What's that?
Alice
Ramsey. Alice Ramsey. Thank you. And we went out. We got to drive this vehicle, like on these old dirt farm roads, and it was really hard to drive. I was terrible at it. Yeah, because you can't get it in the gear, and you're sitting on the other side, and
you didn't have to admit that. Nobody knows.
No, but it was, you guys. It was so much fun. It was so great. It was just.
It looks kind of terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, we're only doing like 20 miles an hour, but when your brakes don't really work, it's pretty terrifying. Yeah.
It looks like it'd be great off road.
Well, I mean, we were off road. And when it's like, $500,000 car that's not yours or however much.
That's what it was worth. Jesus.
Oh no, I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but I mean, like this thing it was restored. It was restored. And the owner was so generous with his time, and it was, I don't know, it was really fun.
The period outfits crack me up too.
Right?
Yeah, they're
right?
so good. What's that?
This is a recreation of a published photo where Alice is changing the tire and her friend is standing beside her, not like, yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, look at that. And like all of the trials and tribulations that they had to go through, and like, she would show up in towns and people they would be really mean to her because, she was a woman driving across country and all this stuff. And you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it was great. And I was just really happy that I could be a part of that project in some way. And Lynn's got some great articles coming up in Haggerty, some really, really fun things that I can't wait to read because I love reading her writing. So good. Yeah, she and I and Rebecca and some people from Mazda and some people from Jeep are going to Moab next week. So
nice.
I'll have that Gladiator Mojave. We'll have a GX. We'll have a Montero. And then someone from Jeep is bringing out one of the old concepts, the one that has the margarita maker in the back. So
wait, which one?
There one, not this past year, but I think the year before. Within the past couple of years, there was a concept, I think it was a Gladiator that had a margarita maker in the back.
Really?
And that's the one he's bringing, yeah. Yeah,
That will very quickly prove to be the most popular vehicle of the trip.
I know, right? We'll be like, aren't we done for the day? We can camp here, right?
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
searching
so-
rapidly. I can't see it.
I don't know. But I'm excited for that. We're gonna do a lot of white rim trail.
Is it a green one?
Nice.
Maybe. I don't
There's
know.
one that looks like it's all overlanded and kitted out. So
Yeah,
Sounds like a
there's-
Jeep.
that and I remember that one. And maybe who's that guy in the background?
I
Yeah,
have
what's
no
he
idea.
doing?
It's 20. This is from 2019, so people could still go and see things. I'm not sure.
He doesn't know what he's doing either. Also, the jerry can inside of the bedside, I did not notice before, and that is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe he's bringing that one. I don't know. Oh no, like sometimes with car people, you just show up, you're like, what are you driving today? Like you never know.
That or the only other option looks like scrambler based stuff. Or
No,
like
it's not
vintage,
that.
and that's not right.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that. I mean, but they had one concept that was like it was a concept for mountain bikers, and it had a hot dog roaster in the back. Yep,
That's
it had
weird.
like a rotisserie
That's bizarre.
thing. Yeah, I think it was called
Don't
hot
want
dog.
that.
It was a concept hot dog.
Concept hot dog.
Don't want that.
I mean,
Nothing-
maybe that's it. Maybe that's the one he's bringing. That actually had a hot dog maker and a margarita maker in the back, and I just thought it was the hot dogs. I don't know.
I hope it's this one.
As
Yeah.
long as the hot dogs don't end up in the margarita maker and margaritas don't end up in the hot dog maker, it should be okay.
Yeah. So this one's the far out.
Yeah,
It's just like, look at it. You're just like, oh my god, it's so heavy.
exactly.
It's a lot. I've
Gross vehicle weight are you on that thing? Like you have to be close.
got to be like closer over.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I see a Gladiator, I'm like, oh my god, that thing's fucking huge.
They are big.
And they're technically mid-sized trucks, but it's like, no, this thing's way big.
Yep.
Way
How-
big.
How does a Rivian compare sitting next to a Gladiator?
I don't know because I haven't had them back to back.
Gotcha.
I mean, they actually might be kind of close because from what I remember writing my story, I was like, it's bigger than a Colorado, but it's not quite as big as an F50. And that's kind of where the Gladiator sits as well, right?
Okay.
All right. So the
Ranger,
oh wow,
not as big as the F-150.
they are Gladiator is 218 inches long, and the Rivian is 217 inches long.
Yeah, so
Same length.
And let's see,
yeah, how long is it?
79 wide for the Rivian, and the Jeep is 74 wide. So they're like about as
Close.
close as it can get.
And
Also,
how
that's
long-
fucking crazy because my Avalanche was 219 inches, and that was a full size truck at the time.
Yeah, how long is the F-150, the new F-150 total?
Which like cab bed.
So the King Cab or the whatever the two doors are,
The
whatever they call it.
Suburban's 224. I know that.
That's so big.
It's.
231 for the F-150.
I get it in my garage
It's
too.
a 6 foot bed.
Can you?
Oh, I live in the Midwest, so yes.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say I have trouble getting two Miatas into my garage.
If you live on the West or East Coast, sorry. Come here if you want to park in a garage.
I don't have a
I'm
garage.
just happy to have a garage. I'm so excited.
At once.
I have a garage. I have a little because I just moved into this new house. I have a little like weird interior room that is going to be a work room. I just bought a work table
Nice.
for it, a steel work table. Yeah, it's a project, but like it's happening.
But it's
So-
fun projects.
Yeah, it's fun, and I just spend money.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like, I'm sure I have money in my account. I'm sure it's fine. Hasn't
It'll
been
be
declined yet.
See, that's that no kid life. I understand.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
So we're gonna do a race up here in the high desert in Lucerne on June 5th, and that will actually be the first time I've raced for a year. My car's been down. My 1600 car has been down in Mexico since the last race, which was like last January. So I'm gonna be slow as balls. And
How-
it's
How much prep has to go into the car before you can be like, all right, let's go race?
well for me, like I do the minimum that I can afford.
Okay.
People who want to win who are not just in it for fun. I mean, people will do full teardowns.
Okay.
Mhm.
They'll take it down and look at every single thing, rebuild it, redo it, all of that stuff. I have neither the time, the money, or the knowledge to do that. So I basically, like, if something breaks, obviously that gets fixed. Things get a visual check, things get a tighten down. But I mean, I'm not like taking the torsion beams out every race like people do.
No,
And yours,
that's a lot. That's excessive.
yours
Yeah.
is VW powered, right?
Yeah, so it's a two-seater 1600, so it's, you know, 80, 90 horsepower maybe. I have a low compression motor. Right now, some people are running low compression motor, so you can run on pump gas. Other people are running high compression motor that you need to, you know, pay $12 a gallon for, which is pretty much what we're doing right now in California for fuel anyway. But the low compression motor, gas is less expensive. There's less logistics to get your fuel, and the motor is a little bit more reliable. You know, it's just a little bit easier to deal with.
Is your buggy white now?
No, it's black. It's like black and purple.
Ooh, I found a white one with blue.
Just because I haven't raced it that much.
Well, there's a 1617 with your name on it, but it's got white.
Me.
But it's got white side panels.
That's the old one.
It is the old one. Okay.
Yeah, that's the old one. So yeah, so I'm going to share driving duties. The most I've ever driven in that car is like 209 miles. And that's a lot of miles for me in that car. And it's pretty rough. And like, I got my COVID-19 right here. Like so I don't really want to drive the whole 250 miles. So I'm going to split driving duties with somebody. And the good news is that she comes with the entire cops racing team.
Okay.
So like, you can drive my car anytime you want to come get with you guys. So that's a pretty good trait in my book.
When you bring support teams.
I know. So, you know, like I just get out there and I race for fun, and I'm hardly ever win. I'm hardly ever on the podium. And if I'm consistent and if I finish mid-pack, then I'm happy, you know, because you spend money on it and it's like, I can get all bent out of shape about not winning, but like, how would that be fun?
It's not
fun.
It's more fun just to go do it.
No.
Like I want to go sideways in the dirt. I don't need to be first doing it. I just want.
Yeah, I don't. And plus, like the people in my class, there's some people that are really, really fast and they have absolutely no fear. Oh, and they're, you know, 30 years younger than me. So it's like.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not ready. I'm not out to beat some 9-year-olds.
No, I'm not. And you know, a lot of times with my class too, it's like checkers or wreckers. You know, you have to put it all out, and you'll either break or you'll win. And I'm like, well, I can't afford to break. I can't afford to roll it. I can't afford to do any of that. So,
so finishing.
Yeah. So I dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sweet.
I know. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself.
I'm excited for you to go racing again. It's good.
Me too.
Sounds fun.
So many things on the list.
I know. It's going to be good.
Sweet. I think Ross is about to turn into a pumpkin.
I know.
Yeah, it's sleep o'clock out here.
I would like to publicly acknowledge that I was 40 minutes late to this because and I went on a hike.
That's okay.
Don't
blame you.
By themselves. Hey, where the hell are you?
I would just point out, like, you are here though.
I am.
I have to send another email, so let's to someone else that isn't here. So
it's fine. It
is fine.
But yeah,
figure it out like we always do.
Shining faces.
Yeah, it was about time. We were doing the math. And you do enough fun stuff in between that, like, each time when you come on, there's brand new stuff to talk about, or we get to talk about the thing you previewed before. Like,
right. Yeah. I know, it's so great.
I think we're doing like every 3 or 4 months now. So
that's kind of
yeah.
Between you and Glucker, you're tied for the most appearances.
Oh my gosh, I love Glucker. Did you see he just bought that Jaguar?
Yeah.
Yeah. He sent us pictures before he actually bought it, and I think the comment was like, "How much of a fucking idiot am I?" We were like, "Oh well."
Dude, the photo of it running rich in the garage the other day.
Oh God, that's terrifying. That's not good.
Did you see the
that's
amount
really
of
not
carbon that was kicked out the back? Like, it just I kind of wish he'd have fired it up while we had him on the show now.
His mechanic is going to be very happy.
Yes.
Well, how much does Gluck like to wrench on his own stuff? Like, I don't know how much he is an engine or
He's not an engine guy.
He's not an engine guy. He's willing to do interior stuff if it makes sense. Like he's had to swap the Montero seats because he broke the bolt on the side of it. After he'd lost weight, then the side bolt that for like the back.
I think that's
the
metal
bracket.
fatigue.
Yeah, metal fatigue. It broke, and so he put the passenger one in the driver's side. He's like, now it's all wonky because it's worn in wrong. Like
the wrong bolsters shot. Yeah,
it's good. Good episode.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great.
Always is.
Yeah. Well, and I've enjoyed seeing Chris, all your stuff on the drive.
Yes, that's starting.
Good stuff.
It's so fun.
I'm so glad.
It's nice to get paid to write things as opposed to just writing things.
It really is. I like money.
I do like money.
Money.
Time is money.
It's
right, Jeff.
Yeah. It's all right. Emmy, you missed last week. My Sequoia rear window. My wife rolled it up the other day and she heard a pop and she was like, "Oh, that was weird." And then she looked back and the window was just sliding down back into the lift gate. So yeah, I'm glad I'm getting paid to write things now because we're already spending it.
Yep. Yep.
But that's fixed and back just in time for it to rain for 9 days. So.
Oh well, but
you got to pay for all that suburban internet.
Yeah. I love that it still has that. Like that. Doesn't the 4Runner still have the roll down window in the back?
Yep.
It does.
Yeah. That, the Sequoia, and if you get a fancy enough Tundra, it'll do it.
Really?
Yeah. If you get like the Limiteds, I think the Limiteds, the rear glass slides down.
Can confirm.
On Tundras.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I learned something. I can finally go back to bed.
Nice.
I'm gonna wake all day trying to learn something.
There you go. Sweet. I'm gonna wrap it up real fast.
Cool.
So rate and review the show on iTunes. We're still there. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. We forgot to mention to Emmy ahead of time that we post the video still. You can follow Emmy on social media. It's at MM Motorsports on Twitter, and then Emmy on Instagram.
I gotta get those two the same.
I don't know. I enjoy the fact that I had to look them both up. I don't know.
No, I gotta get them. Anyway.
That's so yeah, read what we write on Hooniverse, the real Hooniverse. This show posts on Hooniverse. And then you can read what I write sometimes on Hooniverse, not that often. On the drive, maybe car Bibles too.
Maybe.
I might have already turned something in for car Bibles.
Yay!
Actually, did I submit that? Now I need to go check. I'm sorry, Jonathan Klein. Ross is at no, not like the one from Friends. Yeah.
Taking suggestions.
I'm at Overlanding Dad. You just go try just Ross. See what happens.
you
never know.
That's open. I'll find out. I'll put it on my to-do list. That would be so funny.
Somebody has bought that by now. Like
yeah, fucking yeah.
That's it. That's the show. We're done.